Okay, I think we're ready. Welcome to my Lunch and Learn video series. This is our fourth installment, and I'm really excited because this week we have Lauren Jolly, who is a birth photographer out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And I'm Amelia Maddox, and I am a birth and postpartum doula here in Greensboro. So welcome. Thank you so much for being with me today.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and we have coffee.
Yes. So important.
Yes, we both have small children, so I feel like we really need coffee in the morning.
All the coffee.
Yeah, I don't know about you. My kids get up very early.
Yes.
Do yours still wake you up at night?
My one younger one does, yes.
Yeah. I mean, we sometimes still get woken up as well, even with the three, 6, and 8-year-olds. Sometimes, they come get in bed.
Yeah.
They are too big.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
Yeah, totally. But it's just part of motherhood. So
it's part of it. So we drink the
That's
coffee.
What we do.
Yes. Okay, so you're a birth photographer, and some of you might know Lauren. She got a little bit famous about a month ago.
It's a little crazy.
So tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
Yeah, so I'm a birth photographer. I also do family, newborn, all that good stuff, but my main focus is birth photography. I'm passionate about normalizing birth. I love to get my work out there so that women can see what birth can look like in all its forms. Mm-hmm. So it's really special to me, and it's an honor. I love that people invite me into that space. So.
That's amazing.
It really is amazing.
And how long have you been doing birth photography?
I've been doing birth for about 3 years.
Uh-huh.
So before that, I did weddings and some other things, but I really focused in on birth a few years ago and haven't looked back. So.
That's amazing. It's so great that you are able to, you're in a very intimate space.
It really is. Yeah.
And when people, I don't have any pictures of me in labor.
Right.
Not maybe a couple when I went to the hospital with my first.
Okay.
I think we got some when I started pushing. Mm-hmm. And maybe some right after I got my epidural, and I was like, relief.
Right. Take a picture. Yeah. Right. I know. That's most people, and I hear so many women say, I wish I had that with my first, or I wish I had that with any of my kids. Because they really, I have it for my kids, and they're some of my most treasured images.
Oh, that's wonderful. So who did the pictures for your kids?
So a friend of mine did them for the last one. I have a lot of photographer friends, so that's kind of the benefit of being a photographer. So the first time we hired someone that we didn't know, and she's actually now a really close friend. And then the second time we hired a friend, and I love them. I love all of them.
That's really special. I don't even know if we had a photographer with my third, it would have been dark.
Yeah.
So how do
That's
you?
One of the challenges.
I'm sure it is. So what do you do? What is your process for getting, such well lit photos?
It's hard. It can be really hard, and I do talk to my clients beforehand about, are you okay with me just turning a light on, and some people aren't, and so I try and work around that. A lot of people are okay with just a little light here and there, which will help. Some photographers use flash, but I choose not to do that. I would just be so upset if I ever disturbed a laboring mom. So there's settings you can change on your camera, and you have to really know how to work around that. And so I think that's something to look into if you're looking into birth photography, is make sure you ask those questions and know that the person has experience with the low light.
Oh, that's a really, because so often when you're in labor, you don't want any light.
Right.
You really do want to keep things dark.
And it is important for the process. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, gosh, I'd love to dig at all the photography stuff because I'm a little of an amateur photographer. And like, okay, so how open do you keep the aperture?
Right, I know. There's a lot that goes into it, and you have to be careful because things are moving quickly, so you can't you can't like bring your shutter speed way down because then everything will be.
That's always my problem in low light. But then I end up with these grainy pictures. Right. Like I'm having a hard time with that. So maybe after this I can pick your brain.
Tips, for sure.
At some point, perhaps in my own doula practice, I'd love to be able to include photography. I know a lot of doulas do that.
Yeah.
And is it true you're also going to be becoming a doula?
I hope so, yeah. So I'm planning to do my training later this year. I just met with a woman who does training here in North Carolina, and so I'm hoping to do that and start offering that probably in conjunction with birth photography. So oftentimes my clients can't, it's hard for people to be able to afford both. So they end up having to choose, which I hate. So I love the idea of me being able to offer a little bit of support as well. I had a friend that had a baby this week, and I got to be her doula / photographer. Yeah. So it was wonderful. It was really great to be in that role, and I'm really, really excited.
That's so exciting. When you get to be a part of someone's birth that you're already close with.
It's so special.
It is so special. Yeah, when I got to attend my sister's, one of her children, and it was just like, and I was taking pictures the whole time. Now I used a flash, and now I feel like maybe I shouldn't have used.
Well, some people don't mind it. Some women, it doesn't bother them at all. And it's kind of hard to know until you get into the birth space, but I would just hate to throw somebody off. And when you're in labor, it's hard to communicate.
That's true.
So I wouldn't want to be doing that and then someone not be able to tell me, oh, that's bothering me. So I kind of just don't even touch flash. A lot of birth photographers do it though. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, and you're also getting in very close, intimate positions.
Right.
Is that true? Like you're maybe over somebody's shoulder?
Yeah, sometimes. I try not to get too much in that bubble, but every now and then I might sneak in, But yeah, so you don't want to, I don't know, I would just really be so upset if I ever just disturbed a labor.
Yeah. Of course, they've hired you too to be there.
Right. And I do get to know them. We have a meeting when they're pregnant. We're texting all the time.
Oh, that's
so
great.
I'm not like a stranger in their space. That's important to me as well. But yeah, I've been able to make it work without flash. And so I hope to keep it.
Well, and
that too.
To that point, I'd love to talk about some of your photography. Yeah. First, let's talk a little bit about the viral photo. Can you tell us about the picture and how you got captured that moment?
Sure. Yeah. So that mom she was my birth photographer with my last baby. So we're friends.
Wow.
So I've known her for a long time. We went to school together. And so she asked me to be her birth photographer for her third child.
Okay.
With her first two, they had not found out the gender beforehand, and they had two girls. And so this third time, they decided we're going to find out, because if we're going to have all girls, we just want to mentally prepare. Dad wanted a son, of course, so they decided to find out this time. So they were welcoming their third girl, very excited, and they live in Raleigh, so they gave me a call when they were heading to the birth center, and I got in my car and rushed there. I made it with about 10 minutes to spare. So when I got there, she got in the tub pretty much right away, and baby just came. And so she had her baby in the tub and kind of scooped her, what they thought was a her, up to her chest. And she was just loving her baby, talking about how beautiful her little girl was. And then they got out of the tub to deliver the placenta and cut the cord. She laid on the bed, and they went to cut the cord, and she uncovered the baby and said, "What is that?" And she said, "Is this a boy baby?" And her midwives were just smiling ear to ear. They had noticed when the baby was born that it was a boy, but didn't say anything. Because they wanted to let her discover it, which I love.
Oh my gosh.
And so her husband double checked. He didn't believe it. He came over. You can see kind of in the photo where he's double checking. And they just, complete shock. We were all, my face probably looked exactly the same as hers.
Her face is just priceless.
It's amazing. I love it. And I'm honestly just so glad that I kept shooting, because I feel like I could have just as easily been just standing there with my jaw, on the floor. So, thankfully, this isn't my first birth. I know how it goes. And so I kept shooting. And, I got that shot.
That's amazing.
I'm so glad I did.
I think everyone is as well.
Right.
I'm sure the family was glad that they'll have that one framed.
Yeah,
I bet.
For sure. I hope so. I hope they have it in the nursery or something.
I hope they do too. It's a great, oh wow, there's a penis where you didn't think there was going to be one.
Yeah, I'm sure that's quite shocking when you think you have a baby girl in your arms and it's not. So yeah. We had a really good friend who had a similar experience. Really?
Yeah, they thought they were having a girl, and they had a boy.
I think it happens more often than you think, honestly.
I think ultrasounds aren't as reliable.
Yeah, I think people think they are, and they're just not.
And yeah, unless you have a blood test, I think that's the only, and you get a genetic panel done.
Right,
that's really the only way.
Only, like, totally for sure. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so what are some other photographs you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah. It's so hard to pick favorites, honestly. When you asked me to pick, it was really hard. But some of my favorites recently, I shot a birth at a birth center in February. And Mom was just so amazing. She labored for about 20 hours, and she just was so positive the whole time, just so excited and happy. It was her first baby. And so I have so many sweet shots from that birth. But the one that I love is the moment that she catches her baby and brings him up to her chest, and then she just looked right over at her husband, and they're just, smiling ear to ear, just so happy and laughing, and it was just the most joyful birth, one of the most joyful births I've been a part of. In
the photograph, you can really see that joy. They're looking at each other.
Yes.
And like you said, it's almost like they're laughing.
They were laughing. And the thing is, that was just like the theme of her whole labor. She was literally 9 centimeters, like making jokes with her husband, and just, it was just so sweet. So I think it's a testament to what birth can look like if you are educated and you know your options and you're not fearful of the process. Oh,
very true. Very true. I think that when I see people who, when they're unsure, when they haven't had as much information, then they do go into labor quite, with a certain level of fear.
Yeah.
And I think that and for myself, I feel like with my first one for sure, I think I was probably in more pain than I needed to be because I was a little bit scared.
Totally. Yeah. I think so much of labor is a mental process. And so if you have fear, it can definitely, I think, make it more painful and just more difficult.
Yeah. So. But then with my third, we were so excited.
Yeah.
And we were having her here at home.
Right.
And it was just, and we were just so excited. Yeah. And I was the same way. I was like just kind of on my feet the whole time and kind of laughing and joking. And we just were so excited.
Amazing, the difference. I love that.
It really is. So, what's another picture we can talk about?
Let's see. There's one where I captured the contraction in the mom's belly. So just the shadows on it, it was just the light in there. You can just see it so well, and it was amazing. I think it's just amazing what our bodies do, and
it is. So, do you know where she was during her labor?
She was getting close to pushing. I would guesstimate she was maybe 8-9 centimeters. Definitely in transition.
It definitely, the way you can see on that picture, when you see that, the way that contraction is, it does look like it's amazing how, because what we don't think about is that the uterus contracts from the top.
Right.
And it literally is pushing down.
Right.
And you can see that in the picture. And I thought she is really either pushing or really close to pushing.
She is in that zone. She may have even started bearing down at that point. She was real close to the end.
So the uterus does a lot of work for us, and you really did an amazing job. I can't believe that picture's not taken with a flash.
Yeah, the light in there was really, really cool that day. It worked out. It does look like flash, doesn't it?
But it's just beautifully done. I'm sure you do a little editing afterwards, but it just looks. It's just.
Thank you.
I love the way it's lit. It's beautiful.
I love that one.
So how do you choose between black and white or color?
Color. A lot of times, I try to do a good mix when I deliver a gallery. A lot of times the black and whites end up being when it was really dark because it's really hard to get the color right. Yeah. So people know when they hire me, they know that a majority of your photos could end up being black and white. I also just love black and white for birth because I feel like it takes away any distractions and you can just focus on the emotion of that moment. So I just love the black and white when it comes to birth. But sometimes the color is just, if the light is good and I can get the color right, a good color birth image is really special too. Yeah. So I do try and do a mix, but I think I'll always have a soft spot for the black and white. Yeah,
they're very, I don't know, for lack of a better word, classy. You know?
Right, yeah, classic, yeah.
So we got time for one more. Okay. I'd love to talk about the sister.
The sister.
in the tub.
Oh, the sibling, right?
The sibling.
Yes, that was so sweet. So that was a home birth,
Okay.
And they had told their oldest daughter that they were going to wake her up. She was finally getting a sister. She had 2 brothers. This was her sister being born. And so they woke her up when Mom started pushing, and she got her bathing suit on, and she got in the tub.
Oh my
She
gosh.
was so excited. Woke up from a dead sleep, but just so excited. So they put her in the tub, and Mom, this mother she's amazing, such a rock star, and she pushed her baby out in the tub, and older sister was, oh my goodness, just so excited and just peeking and touching and she knew all about the process. They'd educated her on what it was going to look like, which I think is so important, especially for a young woman. So it was just so special. And I've actually photographed another birth for that family earlier this year, and it's wonderful. So
wow.
Yeah, that was a really special moment.
It's such a sweet picture. Do you know how old?
She was, I want to say she was 5 at the time, and she is, that was a couple years ago, so she's, I think, about 7 or 8 now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids were excited when when our youngest was born.
Right.
I don't know if they would have gotten in the tub.
I know, that's kind of a whole nother level, but it was really special. It was just normal.
Yeah, yes.
They had normalized the birth process, and I just think that's just so important. And I think that if we can educate kids, young kids, and then even, middle school, high school age, it's so important. And I think we can change the landscape of how people view birth in our society.
Absolutely.
So it starts with that, it starts with the 5-year-old who's getting in the tub and so excited, you know what I mean? So I love it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lauren. I really appreciate you being. Is there anything else you would like to add? And your contact information, how folks can get in contact with you?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on Instagram. You can find me at Lauren Jolly Photo. My website is laurenjollyphotography.com. You can kind of find everything through there. I do a blog. I like to share resources. So.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much. And I follow your Instagram, and it's always got beautiful photos on it. And cute kiddos, too.
Thanks. Yeah, my kids are pretty cute.
So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.